And it's live. Welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room YouTube channel and Twitter, wherever you're watching us from. I'm joined by Matty, Jared, and Chedu. Matty, how are you, mate? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Nervous if the Brazilian lads can't play, but other than that, I'm feeling confident.
Yeah, defo. Jared, one of your first streams since some news that hasn't been released yet. How are you doing, mate?
I'm great, man. I'm excited for this this battle. It'll be an interesting clash of tactics and high pressing and running. So I'm excited.
And Chedu, you're always in a good mood, mate, unless you're doing a draft video.
Shut up. So I am feeling I'm feeling great today. Today is a new day. Tomorrow is a newer day, and on Sunday we're gonna beat Leeds 4-0. So I'm feeling quite confident.
That's the nice level of confidence that we always expect from you two, especially on that side. Make sure to get your comments in so we can react to them and we can discuss everything. But first off, Leeds United, we had a preview released on the channel yesterday, I want to say. I mean, I've had a lot's happened since. Matty, Leeds United, what are their biggest threats and who do you think will cause Liverpool problems?
I like Leeds. I think they're a decent side. Really like Bielsa. I like his style of football, just like his whole persona, and they're an exciting team. So that I think they're threatening all over the park. Really, Leeds. They haven't got superstars, but they've got a team. And I remember you done a video with a Leeds podcast who said like no player who's played at Leeds could play for anybody else because of this. They're very much system based and they're a strong side. I do think we'll win them, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game.
No, it's definitely going to be tough. One positive, though, Chedu, of the Brazilian boys potentially not making it is Rafinha may not play. How much of a big miss would he be for Leeds?
I'm going to be that person. I kind of what I said way back when. Without Rafinha, I don't think they're gonna have much of an attacking threat. I think I think that he is the bigger man up top that really moves things along. So losing someone as crucial as him, it's gonna be quite negative for them.
But Patrick Bamford.
Dan James as well. Dan James is the decent football. He United. No point being bitter. He is
the guy who couldn't catch Salah when he scored the second goal.
Second goal at Anfield. I think someone like him will excel under Bielsa. Bielsa's similar to Klopp, who makes players better. He's going from a PE teacher to a world-class coach. Whether he's at Leeds United or not, Bielsa is a miles better coach than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
That's true. Jared, I will pose the same question to you, mate. Do you think Rafinha would be a big miss, or do you think that Leeds have the quality to still maintain a positive attacking threat against Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, he's a massive miss. Obviously, he's the most creative player probably in the attack for Leeds. The matchup between him and Robbo would be really interesting if he does play. Not that I'm particularly terrified of that, but Robbo would have his hands full on the left flank. I think Jack Harrison is still a big threat, like really lively, creative player, and then obviously Bamford, if he gets kind of the right service in and around the box, he'll finish. But also Junior Firpo, if he's healthy, I believe he is. Massive pickup from Barcelona. So I think he's playing as like a left wing back, kind of left mid. Like this formation, Bielsa's used like a 3-3-3-1 on paper. It's a bit confusing. Obviously, Bielsa kind of has his own ways, his own unique ways, which we all love. But watch out for Junior Firpo as well. He's he bombs up and down the pitch and he's really active. But no, I think Rafinha, I mean, like you said, it's if he's out, if our Brazilian trio are out, then he's out. So because of how valuable he is to them, I don't know if it's exactly even, but it definitely makes things a bit more fair. If we're missing, obviously Bobby's out anyway, but if we're missing Ali and Fabinho, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting proposal. We still actually haven't heard what's going to happen with the Brazilian boys. I think he might go up until the last second. I know Liverpool are confident. I saw that there won't be any sanction, but that's no guarantee. And it would be even more annoying if we got docked points, and the same with Leeds. But yeah, moving away from the Brazilian FA and their stupidity. How confident are you? Because the Chelsea game was sort of indifferent, Jared. I thought that we played well, especially in the first half, but the second half didn't provide much. How confident are you that we actually will beat Leeds? And do you think so?
Yes, I actually am confident. We really, from the midpoint on from last season, we've really struggled against well-disciplined low blocks. And in the first half, when Chelsea were at full force, yes, they had kind of more of an attacking threat. Obviously, they had some counters that looked really dangerous that didn't lead to goals, luckily. But there was more space for us to attack as well, and we looked way more expansive. And the way we were switching play, it looked really good. Harvey Elliott getting involved. Verge spraying out those diagonal balls. But then in the second half, when they went down to 10 men, it was almost like an advantage to them because they were so set on staying back in their low block and defending, of course. And we struggled more against that, like a Burnley style or than we would against like a Leeds style. And the thing about Bielsa is he's so set in his principles of how football should be played that I think it could work to our advantage in a match that's going to be, I think it's going to be really end to end. Both teams are going to be high pressing, and I think that's advantageous for us because we thrive on the counter press, winning those 50-50 balls. So I think, we might concede. Like, I think it'll be like a 3-2 type of scoreline, but I'm confident we'll win. And that's not really what we struggle against. We struggle against those low blocks, and our lack of creativity sometimes hurts us.
Chris, we can't charge you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, your mic seems to go up.
So I might have muted my mic. Matty, Chedu, do you agree with that? In terms of, do you think it'll be a similar game to that 4-3 last season?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be the same all over again. I've respected Leeds as a team. I think they have a great coach, a great team in general. Even when they came up last season, that first game, I was actually quite nervous because I think a lot of people underestimated Leeds when they came up. And I think they're going to surprise again this season. And, as it's been mentioned, they've made some really good signings. And, I want us to win, but I want a little bit of a Junior Firpo masterclass. As if I'm correct, he's the only Dominican player to ever make it in the Premier League. So it'd be quite interesting to see him absolutely destroy us. But, I always stay loyal to Liverpool. So I want us to win, but I also want him to drop a masterclass. And I think the way Bielsa plays Leeds, I think I actually quite like it. It's quite an interesting style of football, and I genuinely can see us winning the game without conceding. Because I just, especially without Fabinho and Alisson, I can't really see it.
Yeah, talking of Alisson, Matty, Anthony's put this question in the comments. I think wide consensus would be the latter.
Yeah, I don't want to see Adrian ever in a Liverpool kit again, to be honest with you. So yeah, give it a queef. Like, I think every time he's come in, he's done a job. To be fair to the kid, he's a number 2 for a reason. I think Adrian's took more of a role similar to what Andy Lonergan had. So yeah, I think it would be Kelleher if Alisson's not there, but I think we'll play Alisson. Because if we play Alisson and they play Rafinha, who gets the 3-0 loss?
Both of us, probably. Don't really know how this works. It's going to be a real confusing one, isn't it? So moving on. There was a debate in our WhatsApp group a while back, and we'll put this in another section. We'll start a combined 11 at some point, but we'll start with this debate. Who is the better player at the moment, and who would you rather have in your team? Patrick Bamford or Roberto Firmino, Matty?
Roberto Firmino every day of the week and on Sundays as well. Patrick Bamford is a Leeds United, a system team, and we've seen when Patrick Bamford came up with a team that didn't play a system. So like they don't have superstars, they have a fantastic team, and Bielsa coaches them fantastically. Bamford came up with Middlesbrough, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Middlesbrough? He was a flop. He's in England, he was terrible. Take him out of Leeds, he's not all that. And I honestly believe there's a reason Liverpool may have been interested. We may have went, how much for him? And then they probably said 45 mil, and they went, nah, crap, not worth that. Roberto Firmino is a better player than Patrick Bamford. That's just facts.
Yeah, I think so. We've got Charlie admin on the comments, so he was very much Bamford FC. Jared, which side of that debate are you on?
Just if you hear any construction, sorry, that people started drilling like the second this podcast started, or this video started, of course. So yeah, I definitely am Firmino all day. I mean, he's my favorite player in the world. But again, I've talked about this before, but in our system, the width is so important to our attack, and Firmino drops into like more of a false nine role. So he's more of like a attacking midfielder. His link up play, his skills, his ability on the ball is just worlds ahead of someone like Bamford, who's more of like a traditional number 9. I like Bamford. He is, he's good movement off the ball. He seems to be a smart player. His finishing, he's kind of hit or miss, right? Like he misses some sitters, but then he can be really clinical. But there's no way I would take Bamford over Firmino, because again, our wingers get more goals than our 9, and that's just the way our system works. Since basically like 2017, and Firmino's work rates, also his defense is incredible, and just his creativity. I mean, that Brazilian creativity, he epitomizes that, and he's just an incredible player. So yeah, I'm Firmino all day.
Definitely. Chedu, I'm guessing you're on the side.
So I'll go with this, and it's I think individually, Firmino's way better as a player. I think in almost every single aspect. But looking at how both have played in their teams and in their respective systems recently, I would have to say that Bamford has been a little bit more of a success than Firmino in the recent weeks, months, whatever, in his Leeds system. But individually, I'd say Firmino's better. In the current system right now, I'd say Bamford. And Jared mentioned the hit or miss for Bamford when it comes to shooting. It's kind of the same as Firmino. Yeah, granted, he's not the one that scores the goals. It's the wingers. But at the same time, when he needs to take a shot, recently it's been more miss than hit. But even so, I think individually he's the better player.
So does Bamford, though. Bamford misses so many chances. When you actually watch a Leeds game, he gets fed chances all game. And
but
he get one goal at the end, but it's like he's not that good. I agree with Anthony's comment there. He's not fit to race Origi's boots, to be honest. Like, he's not that good.
I mean, I don't think Origi scores 17 goals in any league.
No, but Divock Origi, when he plays for Liverpool, isn't played in his best position. Let's be serious. I don't want him at the club anymore. Let's get that out there first. But Divock Origi plays better on the shoulder of the last man, and we never play him like that. And when he has played like that, he has played well. Like in that Everton game, he was on the shoulder of the last man, and he terrorised the defence. So, but Patrick Bamford isn't all that, to be honest with you. He's very good for Leeds' system, but take him out of Leeds, he's terrible. He's shown that in the England game on the weekend. He's shown that when he came up with Middlesbrough. The only team Bamford's done well at in the Premier League is Leeds, and that's because of the system is around Bamford. But he's not. Wouldn't go into any other team.
Maybe not. So we'll start off now. Our predicted 11 for Liverpool against Leeds. Now, we wouldn't usually be much of a debate, but we'll start with the goalkeeper, and we'll start with you, Matty.
It's got to be Kelleher. If Alisson's not there, it has to be Kelleher. If it's Adrian, I'm going to be very, very upset, to be honest with you. And then I've seen someone put Karius with a laughing face in the comments. If he's there, oh my god, it's just got to be Kelleher.
He's not even in the squad. He's not even in the Premier League squad, I don't think, Karius. So I don't think it's possible.
But I mean, it'll be bad enough Adrian being on the bench. Never mind being in the starting 11. So I hope it's Kelleher.
Yeah, Jared.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see Kelleher. I haven't seen a ton of him. I don't think any of us have, but whenever he's in there, he looks very confident and calm. And so much of goalkeeping is like that. The optics, like how do they look? Do they look confident? Do they look calm on the ball? And like when Adrian's in goal, it's literally the opposite of that. You're just like waiting for the mistake to happen, right? And we've seen, of course, the Atletico second leg. We're all scarred from that.
I don't remember that game.
Honestly, I would rather, I think, see Karius than Adrian in goal. Honestly, like Karius to me, obviously the Champions League final situation happened, but there were reports that he was concussed during that game after Ramos elbowed him in the head after running like 20 yards into the box from 20 yards out. So yeah, maybe that's just maybe that's recency bias, but I really don't like when Adrian's in goal. It really just feels like something bad is just waiting to happen. So yeah, definitely Kelleher for me.
Chedu?
I'll have to agree. Definitely Kelleher. I don't want to see Adrian anywhere close to that to the goalposts ever again. If Kelleher gets injured tomorrow, I'd rather start Marcelo Pitaluga than Adrian.
Okay.
A Milner in goal.
Right back, I think we'll all agree Trent will be
Bradley,
playing
right?
there. Definitely. And I think he will be really, really important against Leeds, especially with the man marking, because a really good ball can like remove all sorts of man marking tactics. So Trent will be really important.
Yeah.
Centre backs. It was an interesting debate. Obviously, Virgil did pick up a little knock, but he's fine. Who would be your centre back partnership, Chedu?
It's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna be begging for it to happen. It's Virgil and Konate. I want to see Konate.
Yeah, that's interesting. Against Leeds
It's
as
not
well.
gonna happen, but it's definitely gonna be Matty. But I would like Konate to get a shout.
What about you, Jared? What are you feeling?
Matip and Verge. I think our struggles last match didn't really have to do with the center backs. I thought they contained Lukaku very well, especially Verge. Obviously, Matip got spun on that one play where Lukaku like received the ball at his feet and spun off him, and it almost led to a goal. But that's going to happen with a player as immense as Lukaku. So yeah, definitely Matip. He's so calm. He's so good on the ball, and we don't really need to speak about Verge. But yeah, if it was Gomez, if it was Konate, I'd be really excited to see that, and I wouldn't be alarmed because I think there's going to be a lot of rotation at the center back position this year, and rightfully so. But yeah, as long as Verge is fine after that slight knock, then I would want them to.
Yeah, Matty, you on the Matip train?
Yeah, I've said it on several streams, Chris. Joel Matip's the second best central defender in world football. He is. But when he's fit,
I'll back him.
When he's fit, there's no one better than Joel Matip. So he has to start next to Van Dijk when fit, and he always will. If he's fit, he will play. He's incredible. I mean, I'd like to see Konate, but I think Leeds is too big of a game to play Konate. I mean, Elland Road is a brilliant stadium. It's unbelievable. Like when I was watching Match of the Day the other week, and when they were at home, and it was bouncing, like bouncing. I mean, I know they lowered the crowd noise for Liverpool, but it was rocking at Elland Road from Match of the Day. So it's going to be intense. So I wouldn't throw Konate in his first Premier League game against Leeds, who were just going to go at you. It's got to be Matip. Has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I fully agree with that. I think Matip is the second best defender when fit, and I think the big problem as to why he's been underrated by not only some of our fans but also players in people in world football is Liverpool bad tax, and B, he's playing next to arguably one of the best defenders of all time. So getting shadowed by him doesn't really help as well, with the fact that he gets injured so often. But when he's not injured, I mean, I'll go as far as to say that he did a way better job against Chelsea than Van Dijk did. Just that because he's playing next to Van Dijk and everyone has their eyes on Van Dijk because he just came back from an injury, he got a little bit overshadowed. But I think he's still a great defender, and I think, if I'm Klopp, I'd start Van Dijk and Matip every game that he can.
Yeah, this is a really interesting debate from Bogdan. We've obviously got the Leeds game, then Milan, then Palace. I can't see Matip starting all three of those. And if so, if he's only dropped for one, which one would you drop him for, Jared?
Definitely Palace. They just aren't obviously as expansive as Leeds. They're not as I think we'll have a lot more possession against a team like Palace compared to Leeds, which is going to be very dynamic back and forth end to end. So hopefully he can go again. When's the match? Wednesday, the Milan match, Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. Hopefully he can go again for that. But again, I mean, we have a lot of depth at this position for a reason. So if Joe Gomez has to start against Milan, I wouldn't be too concerned, even if it is Konate. I agree with Matty. You don't throw Konate into such a massive match. But you know, he's played in big matches himself. They were in they were relatively deep into the Champions League last season when he was with Leipzig. So, you know, I think he'll be ready for the big occasion, but he needs to at least get some more calm fixtures under his belt before he plays these huge matches. So,
yeah, very interesting. Left back, I think Andy Robbo is going to be a unanimous choice, even though he wasn't at his peak against Chelsea. Is there anyone out there rooting for Kostas Tsimikas?
I think he'll play Tsimikas. Andy Robbo's just played 4 games in 12 days for Scotland, and he's only just come back from his injury. So I think we probably will see Kostas potentially get the nod, because it's just not worth risking Andy Robertson when you think you've got like Milan in midweek and then you've got City round the corner. I don't think they'd risk Robbo that much, knowing that Kostas can do a job.
Especially because Leeds is going to be a lot of running. Like you're going to have to outrun Leeds, which is going to be tough. So we're going to go for Kostas then.
I think so. Yeah, purely just because of how many games Robbo's played. But then I've just seen a comment Tsimikas played every Greece game, but I don't know if they've had 4 or less. I just know Robbo's played 4 in.
Jared, who would be your choice?
It's hard to say. I mean, knowing Robbo, he'll be fine to play because he's such a machine. But yeah, it's a nice luxury to have. Tsimikas he has like just as high of a motor as Robbo does. So I think that would be it's nice. It's almost a like for like switch. I'm not saying Tsimikas is quite on Robbo's level, but he's just played so well. That I didn't think of that. You know, that's a good point that Matty brings up. So it could definitely be Tsimikas. That does make sense, and I don't think Klopp would be. I don't think he would be worried if he has to start Tsimikas to rest Robbo. It might be the wise thing to do.
Chedu, I think.
What
are you going for, mate?
Isn't it great that we have the 2 best left backs in world football? Essentially, no, Tsimikas is gonna start. I was about to say I think Robertson's gonna start because of how reliable he is and how he's always available. But going with this, I think the intention last season was to rotate Robertson and Tsimikas at least a little bit often. But of course, all the injuries stopped that from happening. So I think we're gonna see a lot more of that this season. And I think, you know, as Matty said, Robertson has played a lot of games internationally after coming back from an injury. So I can see Tsimikas starting. I actually wanted him to start against Chelsea. I think he would have probably done a better job than Robertson at the moment because of the form he was in and the fact that Robert just came back from injury. So I'd like to see Tsimikas start. I think he'd do a great job against Leeds.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. Now here comes the main sort of debate. I don't mind if you'd like to include the Brazilian boys, but we'll go for the midfield now. I'm gonna stake my claim out there and say Fabinho will play. I do think he will, especially with the Brazilian situation. I do think it will be resolved by that time. But I'd also go for Henderson and Thiago against Leeds. Matty, who would be your 3?
If Fabinho plays, it'll be Fabinho, Thiago, and Elliott. I think. If Fabinho isn't there, I think it'll be Hendo, Thiago, and Elliott. I do think if he's played Elliott in the Chelsea game, he's going to give him a go at Leeds. And I think it's a good game for Elliott. It's open, it's fast, it's what he likes. He's going to find himself in decent spaces. And it's a game where Thiago can probably control the midfield. So I think he'd play a blind there as well. But I'd like to see Thiago play with Fabinho behind him so he knows he's got that attacking creativity. But then if Fabinho's not there, I think Henderson will play in that holding role.
I know that it was obviously precautionary, but Elliot did get that call back from the under-21s as well.
I think that Klopp
fine.
doing what Fergie used to do, where he's texted Elliot and said, "I heard you've got a little knock on your shin this morning, lad," and he just comes home.
Jared, who do you be going for in midfield?
Yeah, I think Fabinho will end up playing. I think this will be resolved by the weekend, and I would say I think Thiago's had enough time now to get up to speed. I assume he was with the Spanish national team. Obviously, he doesn't play a ton for them as of late, but he's been kind of in multiple camps now, and then they've had a few days midweek now back at in Liverpool to train. So I think it should be Thiago. We bought him for a reason, and we've only seen flashes of his brilliance, obviously due to a lot of factors outside of his control. But yeah, I think it should be Thiago. And like Matty said, I think Thiago and Fabinho will be, we haven't seen a ton of them, but both of them in the midfield will be just absolutely immense. And then I would like to see Harvey continue to play. I think he's a superstar in the making. And I think there should be no questions about, is he ready to play so many matches in a row? Is he ready to play at Ellen Road? Like, I think the kid is just built different. He has ice in his veins, and he should play basically whenever he can. I think he's that game changing for us. But I wouldn't be surprised if Hendo gets the nod over Harvey, or of course if Fabinho's out, I would expect him to play. And then Keita, of course, could be in the mix, but we'll see.
Yeah, this is a couple of shouts here, Chedu. Naby Keita obviously had a decent start to the season.
He's a prisoner. No, he's not a.
Yeah, but he's back. He's back.
He's back.
He's not going to be back in the team, is he? Straight away. He's only been when did he come back? Yesterday, day before, 2 days training.
He doesn't need rest.
Keita's,
if there's any player in this team that needs rest, it's him.
No.
I think I would honestly
10 days in a row if he needs to.
I'd rather Keita from Milan.
I think Champions League is built for Naby Keita, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But Chedu, who would be your midfield, mate?
I don't know where I saw it. I was trying to look for it, but I saw a post that said that the Premier League teams just can't be asked and will start their Brazilian players. I don't know how truthful that is, but I do think that we will. I think Fabinho is going to take that number 6 role, and I'd love to see Thiago but it's not. I don't think that Thiago and Harvey probably. I think Harvey's, he's trying to make his case for Young Player of the Year. He's a massive talent, and of course, Klopp has a lot of faith in him. If not, he wouldn't have started him all those games. And I think that he has a plan for him and this team. Maybe now that Shaqiri is gone, we'll see him play more of an attacking role, since Salah does not have that kind of backup. But I think he's developing well in that midfield role, and I would like to see, like that right side of ours, that creativity of Trent, Elliot, and Salah is just phenomenal. And I think that's the sort of creativity we're going to need against Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a really interesting to see who Klopp picks in midfield, but I'm sure it will be the right decision in the end, and he definitely knows more than we do. So, onto the front line, we're likely going to be missing Roberto Firmino. That's what we all led to believe anyway. Takumi Minamino's also probably injured. We don't know. But the front three, we'll start with you, Jared. Who would you go for?
It seems obvious, but Mane, Jota, and Salah. I think it's pretty straightforward. I would love to have Bobby for this game due to his work rates. I don't think we throw Ox in the false 9 role right away coming back, but as much as I know you want to see that, Chris. But yeah, I think the front three is pretty straightforward. And I don't know about you guys, but the news about Naby Keita and the political strife in his home country, and it almost felt, and the injuries that have been happening this week, and the Bobby injury, it almost felt like, oh my God, like here we go again. All these players are already kind of dropping like flies. We didn't do much in the transfer window, so luckily Keita's home, and I don't know how serious Minamino's injury is, but it's a long season. There's a lot of competition, so I'm a little worried, but yeah, that front three is pretty solidified, I think.
Are you
I
two boys joining the Mane Jota Salah club?
Even if everyone was fit, that would be my starting attackers. I think anyone would say the same thing.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be the attack. To be honest with you, I think if we were going to see the Ox play in like a false nine or something, he probably would have come off the bench against Chelsea when we needed a goal. So I don't think he would. He warrants to start there. I don't think Klopp's confidence stuff. Any of them,
Bamford
anyone
scored the
but
goal.
that front three, we needed a goal against Chelsea. He didn't. He brought Costas Tsimikas on, so that shows his faith in them attacking options. So it's going to be Mane, Jota, and Salah. It has to be. I think even if Bobby's available for selection, it'll be Mane, Jota, and Salah against Leeds. Oh, he's not, Charlie. He's just not.
Shut up. Shut up.
Come on, boys. Join the
Shut
club.
up. No,
We
shut
all
up.
do.
Shut up.
When Ox
He's-
bags 10
I
goals,
like the Ox. I think the Ox he's a fantastic footballer. If he can get back to the heights he had before his injury,
Yeah.
unbelievable. But
Yeah.
just, I think this is Ox's.
1920 Ox was still sick.
I think if Ox doesn't play many games from now till January, you might see him try and move on in January, to be honest with you. But I do like him, and I just hope he can find the form he had again, because he's a player who will have a go from outside the box. And sometimes when teams are hard to break down, you just need someone who can just ping it in from outside the box, and the Ox can do that. So, but I don't think he starts. He didn't even get on against Chelsea, so I don't think he starts. And he hasn't had much sleep. He's got a new baby, and that man needs a rest.
Exactly. Bless his heart. Anyway, that should be it for the stream. Unless anyone else wants to cover anything. I think there was suggestions we do a combined 11, but we're not going to do that because
How about scores plus?
we'll pose this question to finish off. Who out of the Leeds team would you have in the Liverpool team if you could take one player? We'll start with you, Matty.
Rafinha. It's the only
Rafinha.
player I'd take from Leeds. They've got, like I said, they've got a good team, good players, but they are not world-class players. But I think Rafinha is he's going to be unbelievable. I think this will be his last season at Leeds. Like, he's special. When you've watched him this season, he's just bossed games. He's special.
Yeah. Jared?
I would say Calvin Phillips. It might be kind of a left field shout, but I would love to see him and Fabinho as like a double pivot in like a 4-2-3-1, which I know we play rarely, but we've seen Klopp do it sometimes. That would be cool. I mean, imagine trying to break down Phillips, Fabinho, and Van Dijk and Matip or Gomez or something. So, and I love his game and his work rates. But yeah, Rafinha, of course, would be a shout as well.
Chedu?
Calvin Phillips is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need a 6, right? But he's so
Yeah.
class.
My first thought was actually Calvin Phillips. My second thought was Rafinha, but then I realized there's only one right answer for all of this, and his name is Patrick Bamford. I'm kidding. I'm gonna go with there's probably their best player of all time. I think everyone can agree with me on this. Stats can agree on me with this as well. Junior Firpo, my fellow Dominican. I just have to bring him to Liverpool.
He was linked at one point, wasn't he? Back in the day.
Before he joined Barcelona, yeah.
Meslier, Charlie in the comments, Meslier is a really good keeper as well.
Yeah.
But
Thing is, though, Alisson, keepers play till they're like 35, 36.
Yep.
So Alisson's got like 10 years still. So what?
yeah, he wouldn't displace that. Alex.
Yeah.
And he's like, he needs to play football as well because he's only like 21. Like,
Yeah.
he's class. So the last thing we will ask you boys is the score predictions. We'll start with you, Chedu. Looks like Mr. Burns.
I'm gonna say 9-1 to us. I think it's gonna be a hat trick from Harvey, a hat trick from Salah, and 3 goals from, let's say, Virgil. I did predict that he's gonna score over 10 goals this season. So yeah, I'm gonna say 2-1. Genuinely, 2-1.
2-1. Who are your actual scorers, mate?
I'm gonna say Harvey and Jota.
Harvey and Jota. Okay, Jared. What's your
And
score
Bamford.
prediction, mate?
I see us bouncing back from the Chelsea disappointment. I think 3-1 victory. I think Bamford might miss a few sitters. They'll get a goal. It won't be a clean sheet. It'll be very end to end, I think. But yeah, something like 3-1 sounds good to me. I think Jota might get a brace. It'll be so open. There'll be so much space. He'll get a lot of service from the likes of Trent. And then, yeah, I think Salah will get one.
Chedu, why are you commenting on the YouTube?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Matty, what's your score prediction?
Well, I'm gonna have to back what I've put money on, Chris. And Salah, I reckon it's gonna be 3-1. Salah, Jota, and Virgil will score for us, and I think Rafinha, if he plays, will bag for them. If not, it's going to be Bamford. Just because I can just see Charlie in my brain going soldiers. You know, I can just. So I'll have to say you'll probably get one as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 as well. I'll go for that. Mo Salah is bagging a hat trick this weekend because he's captain in my fantasy team. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the stream. I've been Chris, joined by Matty, Jared, and Chedu. Catch us in the live watch along tomorrow. Jack, I believe, is doing it. Matty is going to be joining us as well, and Jared is as well. So that'll be cracking. Anyway, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like.